More theories that are gonna make us question everything. Thank you, Hector, for the videos.
People say vampires are a metaphor for seductive people. Check this out. Let me break it down. Ready?
Because the neck, when you kiss on the neck,
On the neck,
that's very
it's like seductive.
Yeah.
Oh, that too. First off, vampires usually wear what color?
Black and white?
Black and red. It's scientifically proven when you wear black and red, you're more seductive. What do guys usually wear when they try to risk people up?
Black.
Black.
All
What
black.
do girls wear? Red dresses. Now check this out. It gets even crazier. Ready?
Yeah.
What are vampires afraid of? Garlic, right?
Okay.
What's like a turnoff, especially to like women?
Breath?
Bad breath. Garlic breath. Check this out. You can only invite a vampire into your home.
Okay.
Yeah, so like you know when like you bring somebody home after the club, you can
Oh my
only invite
gosh.
one of them home. It's a metaphor for somebody trying to seduct you in like a social setting. People took it a step further and say it's almost like succubus.
Yeah, succubus.
They kiss your neck and you become one. You're gonna go out into the club and continue that cycle of, oh, let me pick up somebody.
That's too
Let me pick
real.
up. Oh,
Yeah,
I do
man.
see it. I
You
do
see
see
it?
it. Yup. It looks like a lady that would have been alive during like old West era. Somebody caught something on their phone.
No, you're lying.
Yeah, no, like we're all in the fire pit chilling, and somebody takes a picture. She took a few pictures actually, and then she showed me after because she knows I talk about this stuff. And she said she was seeing this like orb following. I'm looking at like, oh, that's just like a light flare. Like, don't worry, that's nothing serious.
Yeah.
But then she keeps scrolling through the pics, and she says, okay, but look at this one. She showed me this one picture. It didn't just look like a light flare. It made an image of a lady with a collared dress. You can imagine a Western attire.
No.
Straight up. Yo, you can see like the face and almost a little bit of the mouth right behind one of my homies, and I never told her. She showed me, but she didn't want to scare everybody else. We do campfires every night.
Oh,
When you see a spirit, it's gonna be of something from the past. And this picture proves that. Straight up, it makes sense. So look, hair.
Oh, wait.
Hair.
Yup.
Eyes.
Yup, I
Eyes,
see that.
Nose.
Yeah, I see it.
And then mouth. And then look. White dress. Collar.
Oh, shit.
You see
Yeah,
it? And then
yeah.
arm.
Real quick, thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Summer is here, and if you're like me, you want to be outside, moving around, and still vibing to your favorite music or podcast. That's where these come in. These are the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, and they've been a lifesaver this summer. I wear them when I'm out walking, cleaning, editing, you name it. They've got 32 hours of battery life, multi-point connectivity, and a quick charge feature. So even when I forget to charge them, 10 minutes gives me 90 minutes of playtime. And can we talk about the fit? They're super comfy, they stay in place, and they're weather resistant, so no worries if I get caught in the heat or a little rain. Also, this case cover, fire. I love how it matches the earbuds and still works with wireless charging, even with the case on. Plus, the active noise cancellation is clutch when I just need to zone in and block out everything else. If you want to try them out, go to buyraycon.com/Perkyy or click the link in my description to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds. Brought to you by Raycon. Now let's get back into this video because it's about to get real interesting.
On January 28, 1986, the world watched as NASA's Challenger space
Y'all
shuttle
know this is
exploded
my
shortly after liftoff.
Conspiracy.
The world mourned the loss of the 7 astronauts who were on board. However, 20 years later, investigators would discover that the 7 crew members never actually boarded the shuttle that fateful day. Now I know what you're thinking. You're ready to call bull on this one, but let me stop you right here. The evidence that you are about to see will absolutely blow your mind. Sure, you've probably heard a dozen media outlets calling this a cooked-up conspiracy theory, but nothing could be further from the truth. Many people remember watching the explosion happen live on television, I myself being one of them. There is no doubt in my mind that the explosion was very real. In this video, we will examine footage from various sources that not only prove that 5 of the 7 Challenger crew members are alive and well today, but will also shed light on the possible reasons why they were not on board.
Oh my God.
3 of the 5 astronauts, Judy Resnick, Richard Scobie, and Michael J. Smith. These 3 crew members were not only found to be alive, but they were still using their original names. You may be wondering, why wouldn't they change their names? And the answer is relatively simple. Their names were not too well known, and in 1986, living under the radar was much easier prior to the internet age.
True.
Is it possible that these 3 astronauts could have living doppelgangers that just so happen to have the same names? Not likely,
Right.
and here's why. Although Michael J. Smith is a common name, the names of the other 2 astronauts, Judy Resnick and Richard Scobie, are exceptionally uncommon. For example, there are only 6 women currently living in the United States with the name Judy or Judith Resnick, and there are only 16 men named Richard, Rick, Rich, or Dick Scobie. What are the chances that all 3 of these astronauts would have living doppelgangers with the same names?
Right.
I'll let you ponder on these odds for a moment. The other 2 astronauts, Ronald McNair and Ellison Onizuka, both supposedly have living twin brothers named Carl McNair and Claude Onizuka. However, no birth records could be found for either one of them. What's even more interesting is this. Let's take a look at this footage from then-President Ronald Reagan's memorial service for the Challenger crew. Here we can see the parents and siblings of Ellison Onizuka. But where is his living twin brother Claude? And here we can see the family of Ronald McNair. But his living twin brother Carl is nowhere to be seen. The reason Carl and Claude were not in attendance for their deceased brother's memorial is the same reason why there are no birth records for either of them.
They don't exist?
They do not exist. An investigator tracked down Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith and conducted a field interview, which he later posted on social media.
Is Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith alive and well? Take a look at the footage and let me know what you think. Hey there. Hey, sorry to bother you. I was pulling out and I saw you. I just came by to... Are you Michael Smith?
Yeah.
Professor at university?
Retired.
Retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stopped by because there's this room. Are you aware of that? There's a rumor on the internet
It's not me.
that people are saying,
Yeah, it's not me, obviously. I mean, anybody that looks at my background, looks where I was born, it's not me. I mean, it's interesting that the Michael J. Smith that was the astronaut looks something like me when we were younger, but really not if you really look at facial recognition.
you've never been a pilot, never been in the
Never been
military?
Nothing like that.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I don't respond to the emails I get. I get probably an email, maybe 2 a month.
Really?
And I got one
Yeah.
guy that's been really hounding me, and I turned it over to the FBI.
Really?
You know, yeah, I mean, it's bullshit.
Okay.
You know, another crazy theory,
Okay.
but that's, not me.
All right.
I'm glad I wasn't him, but he was quite a guy.
Yeah.
But if you look at my career, you look at my CV that's online, all the stuff I've published, all that I've done, it's not even close to what that guy was.
Okay. Yeah, you just sure look a lot. It's the same
I
name.
know the facial thing, but that's what we look like, 40 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
That's him. I don't care.
Voice analysis of the living Judy Resnick, compared to the Challenger astronaut Judy Resnick, confirms that they are indeed the same person.
I am hoping that the affliction that Steve Hawley had from the 41D mission specialist of the delays hasn't rubbed off on me.
For a very long arm, which is as long as the cargo
you
bay,
done.
it's 50 feet long.
The image lets you see all of the current contemporary issues. All courts shall be open, property remedy by due course of law.
That's
you can find these.
her.
The equal justice under law becomes that we thought courts were all along. It says equal justice under law.
Yeah. It's not even just the look, it's the voice too. This is my favorite theory.
There are many possible
Not a theory.
reasons why the crew did not board the Challenger that day. One theory is that the Challenger's final mission was deceptively unmanned due to limited funding and to maintain NASA's position as the world leader in space exploration. Clues uncovered in a documentary produced by National Geographic on the Challenger disaster seem to support this theory.
When Space Shuttle Challenger launches on a January morning in 1986, a key engineer is sure a catastrophe is coming.
We've got to stop the flight. We cannot let Challenger launch, period. This is insane.
He thinks the ship is going to explode. After 2 decades of budget cuts and a loss of public interest, the shuttle has never made good on its promise to provide a routine bus service to space. The 25th shuttle launch will be far more than just another trip into orbit. It's designed to resurrect the entire program. NASA hope to restore faith in their billion-dollar baby.
And like Krista said, you know, Mom, she said that shuttle, they can shut that down the very last second if anything's wrong.
In the months following the disaster, Morton Thiokol paid the astronauts' families around $4.6 million, but were awarded a $1.8 billion contract to develop a new range of rocket boosters.
Wow.
NASA's Lawrence Malloy was offered a promotion to Deputy Director of All Propulsion Systems.
Now let me ask you this. If you were offered $4.7 million to pretend that your loved one was deceased, would you do it? Of course you would.
I'd be the best actress.
I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here.
I'm playing. They not though. When they start adding the pictures and stuff and the voice, and I think what throws me off is, why did y'all fake y'all death to be a professor? Like, most of them was professors. I could have swore it was at Yale, but what was the point of faking y'all death to be a professor? If y'all wanted to be a professor, just switch professions. You got the people saying that that's their twin. What, like the girl said, why wasn't the twin at the funeral? Why wasn't they there? Because the twins don't exist. They are the twin. Man, have y'all watched? I don't want to give them now. I don't know if y'all seen You, because that's what it's giving. You season 5 to be exact. Thank you, JD, for the video.
The older I get, the more I realize that 9-to-5 job is really a trap, leaving you exhausted chasing a dollar. Keep you on the string coming back every single day into the trap. The real definition of chasing the bag. Going to the same location, doing the same thing every single day. Leaving you depressed, stressed, and anxiety through the roof because you know you should be doing something more with your life. Most people never even experience leaving the country, let alone the state, because of that job is keeping them trapped, stuck working at a desk for 60% of their life. Some people so far into the rat race that they never even experienced traveling across the world. Every week punching in, 6 days out the week, 9 o'clock sharp, doing something that you hate to get a bag. And the only way to escape this vicious cycle of the rat race is to start your own business and get your time back. Break those chains that's bonding you to that job and achieve the ultimate goal of financial freedom. And from experience, I can tell you the best decision I ever made in my life.
The invisible string theory. The universe will keep two people apart until the timing is right. You'll meet in the most random of circumstances, only to find out that they were hidden in plain sight the whole time. There's a video that was released, right? And it was trending, it was going viral and stuff.
So it's like a 5-minute video of Britney at this festival. It's so blurry and badly shot from '96 that you can't really make out any faces, which makes this video even more bizarre.
Watch.
There's Britney. All right, get ready for this. Ready? Britney, me. What? It's not even possible.
So they were in each other's lives since they were kids, bro. And that's the whole invisible string theory, that the universe or whatever, a higher power is saving this person for you, but they have to be in your life eventually, bro. They're gonna be in the background the whole time. Think about it, bro. They never knew each other.
Yeah.
He didn't even acknowledge her, bro.
Do y'all have a story or testimony that y'all can give? I'll say this. I know that my grandmother, shout out to my grandmother, my grandfather, they lived, I want to say, on the same block, right? Or maybe a next block over. I forgot how the story is down to the T. But they didn't officially meet, even though they lived in the same area, they didn't officially meet until they got on a plane, headed to somewhere or coming back from somewhere. That was how they met, but they lived on the same block and didn't even know. So it'd be stories like that where I'm like, how? Then there's people that's like they'll have a picture and then the person that they're married to is in the background of the picture, and then it could be at like Disneyland or something. It's the most craziest thing in the world to me, but I love to hear it. So if y'all have any stories about how you met your partner before your partner's your partner, would love to hear it. So comment down below. Thank you, Munchie, for the video.
Should we tell them what happened at Disneyland? yes. Belle and I, we're kind of sick. We're actually very sick, and I'll tell you why. We spend every waking moment together, every minute, but if she's gone for like 2 days, I'm like, where's my wife?
Yeah.
And I need my wife. So I was like, yo, let's go out. We're gonna spend the whole day together. We haven't seen you in 24 hours. This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So we go to the beach, we're having some pizza, we're having a good time. Then I was like, yo, let me take her to downtown Disney. So we're here hanging out at downtown Disney, and I was like, you know what? Just because we're spontaneous like that, she was looking at Lego stuff that we could put together, and I said, hey, let's get this one so we could use it in our hotel room tonight. And then I showed her that we got a room here. So we're having a great time. We're watching movies, we're ordering room service, you know, we're out on the balcony, we're having a great time. Around like 1 o'clock at night, it's dead quiet, and I'm sitting there, Belle's right in front of me, the park is behind her, if that makes sense. All of a sudden, we just hear boom. Like, and bro, it exploded so hard, it shook us in the room. So I was like, yo, what's that? As it explodes, a crazy amount of fires over her shoulder. Then smoke goes up into the sky, but then makes a perfect circle black thing. Bro, like a scary movie. Me and Belle love Disney conspiracies. Is this the happiest place in the world? Or is it not? We see this and we're like, yo, perfect circle. It's been there for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, not dissipating.
And the smoke from that came out is like this black, like almost like you could see the oil in the smoke. Like it's like a black ring.
It was there in the sky for like 15, 20 minutes. It wouldn't go away. And I'm like, yo, that's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. Somebody just got sacrificed. So I literally just started making jokes. I'm like, yo, this is a sacrificial thing. This is a spiritual thing. So then we get on our phone to see where it comes from. The exact position of where that explosion came from. What was it called?
The spirit cave.
So now me and Bella are just laughing, trying to scare each other a little bit. We're like, yo, they're sacrificing people in there right now. Like, it's all true. We're making jokes. We go inside. We come back out a little later that night. It's around like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Bro. Then we hear somebody screaming for their life. Like, when I mean screaming for your life, not like, get me out of here, I'm dying.
Bloody murder.
Yeah, and then she stopped screaming, and then we never hear it again.
It was like a good 5-second, like,
yeah, it was like a terrifying
that's
scream.
it. And then after that, another like 20-30 minutes after that, music starts playing. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, creepy music.
Yeah.
So there's 2 things to this. Is either one, they are doing sacrifices out there, they're people, or the rides were just being tested. I would like to think somebody's getting sacrificed.
Thank you, Mike, for the videos.
The BIS is the Bank of International Settlements, and it's the central bank of central banks.
Where is that located?
It's in Basel, Switzerland, and it has 63 of the most powerful central banks as its members, and the New York Fed and the Fed are both shareholders. They became shareholders in 1994.
In one sentence, what's the purpose of the Bank of International Settlements?
Okay, so there are 2 things you need to know about the Bank of International Settlements.
I'm not sure my brain's big enough for this, but keep going.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
It has sovereign immunity.
What does that mean?
It's above the law.
It's its own country.
Right. It's its own country. It has its own police force. And essentially, other than one of its staff being in a car accident or, minor things, no one has the legal authority to move against it. Okay, and it's sovereign immunity. That's number 1. Number 2, it can move money and hold it on its bank, on its balance sheet, and manage money secretly. So if I want to, I'm grossly oversimplifying, if I want to steal 21 trillion from the U.S. government and park it on the balance sheet of the BIS, it can move it anywhere in the world, and it can keep it on its balance sheet secretly.
Why would there be an organization? But first of all, where does its power? Like, who empowered it to have sovereign immunity in the right?
It was created after World War I, and sort of collected its powers and got going in the 30s. And it was created in theory to manage the reparations of the German government. But if you read the real history, it was because the Bank of England and the central bankers wanted an entity that had sovereign immunity. They wanted to be able to move money secretly. So, for example, if you look at what happened during World War II and all the money that was moving back and forth between the Germans and Americans, Dulles was over in Switzerland helping to manage all these transfers back and forth. So there's a wonderful book called The Tower of Basel by a wonderful Hungarian journalist where he documents and describes the whole history of the Bank of International Settlements. And if you want to understand power in this world, understanding how the Bank of International Settlements and the plumbing of the central banking system works is very, very important.
Asked Alexa, is it legal to make a U.S. citizen pay taxes to a private bank? You're going to learn about the banking system in 3 minutes or less, so get some popcorn, a pen and paper, write some notes, because she glitched out and said a little bit too much about the Federal Reserve.
Doesn't she always?
You are probably referring to the bankruptcy of the United States Corporation. It is important to understand that individual countries cannot go bankrupt, only corporations can. Moreover, the United States Corporation is a private corporation that does not represent the United States government.
That's weird.
It is misleading to use the term United States without clarifying which United States. In any
It's
case,
misleading to have United States Corporation.
Bankruptcy does not mean that countries are bankrupt. Countries do not have debts like private corporations do. Countries generate revenue through taxation and other sources and have sustainable finances.
Alexa, what's the Federal Reserve?
The Federal Reserve System is the central banking system of the United States.
Alexa, is the Federal Reserve a private banking system?
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated. The owners of the Federal Reserve are private banks from the USA.
Oh, Alexa, why would we have to pay taxes to a private bank?
The United States has a progressive personal income tax in which the average tax rate increases as taxable income rises. For the 2022 tax year, the United States has 7 tax brackets
Alexa,
with marginal...
Not what I asked. Try it again.
Thanks for telling me.
Alexa, why would a citizen have to pay taxes to a private banking system?
From procon.org. With private accounts, individuals will be paying into a fund that they control, instead of a government-controlled trust fund that may run out of money before they ever receive the benefits they've earned.
Wow. Alexa, is the Federal Reserve a private bank?
Here's something I found on reference.com. Technically, no one person, group, or entity owns the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is an independent agency within the U.S. government and can be subject to oversight by the United States Congress.
Alexa, is the Federal Reserve
She
owned
want
by
the
the government?
answer?
The Federal Reserve is owned by controlled by member private banks, but not owned by anyone.
Private banking. So, Alexa, why would we have to ever pay taxes to private banks?
From Forbes.com. We're talking about the private banks that make loans or back them for homeownership, the Federal Home Loan Banking System, which makes it possible for people earning tens of thousands of dollars per year to borrow hundreds of thousands for houses.
Not what I asked.
What if the devil didn't knock? He just left a box in your neighborhood. The first time it showed up on our block, it didn't come in no dealer's hand. It came in a government van with no plates. It was 1985, South Central LA. Summer fading, heat still hanging off the concrete like a warning. Streets were tight, money low, tempers high, and people just trying to make it. Now back then, there was an old man named Mr. Harold. He used to sweep the sidewalk like he was protecting sacred ground, always muttering stuff like, they gon' in us and it won't come through the water. Folks laughed, thought he was just old and tired. Then one night around 3 a.m., a black van with no plates crept down the alley behind the liquor store. No lights, no sound, just slid in like it belonged to the shadows. 4 men got out, no neighborhood faces, suits, military posture, looked too clean to be from around here. They opened the back and started unloading sealed wooden crates. Quiet and quick. One behind the dumpster, one under a swing set, one next to the burnt out corner store. They didn't knock on doors, didn't speak, just left them behind, like a gift wrapped in silence. Next morning, whole block fell off. Kids found those crates first, took pieces out, passed them around. By sundown, something had changed. Some folks moved fast and jittery. Others just sat, staring at walls like they could hear them whisper. People who used to laugh, gone quiet. Folks who worked double shifts, now disappearing for days. And the crates, gone. Mr. Harold stood on his stoop. That ain't no accident, he said. That's war. Quiet war.
Man.
Later, whispers started about how somebody used the neighborhood to fund something overseas, about planes and meetings and things being dropped off and no one would notice or care. And anybody who asked too many questions, they stopped asking. So when folks wonder why certain neighborhoods fell apart like rotting floors, tell them this. We didn't bring the boxes. We didn't pack what was inside, but we sure opened them. and some of us never closed them again.
So I know somebody in the comments had mentioned, like, you know, we opened the Pandora's box. Now it's time for us to close it. I know someone has said that this is actually a real story. The government used to drop off crates, like it would be guns, drugs, like all this stuff in the hood. She said this is why Chicago crime rate was and is so high, because they fueled it on purpose. I know we read plenty of things about this. I know Gary Webb brought this out because I know we reacted to it. It's another guy as well, but I know for sure we reacted to Gary Webb. This is how guns and drugs got here, because they placed them here. That's why it truly is a spiritual war, because look at what they're doing. And in the areas that they dropped them at were very strategic. They did that stuff on purpose. They plan here before they do anything in the physical. And then the last thing I'll say, what I read was, like, they really treated the projects like a project.
France's economy is in trouble, and no one's talking about why. But here's the truth. Africa is cutting the cord. For decades, France built its wealth on the backs of its former colonies. But now, leaders like Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Mamadi Doumbouya are rewriting history.
Thank you, JD, for the video.
Let's paint. Painting the walls to get through tough times. When shuttles blow up, it's not always an accident.
What do you mean, not an accident? Who is this guy singing?
And who am I? A conspiracy fly. Did you know NASA means deceive in Hebrew?
Come on.
I did not. The Denver airport was built by the Illuminati.
This is really an episode?
Peter, shoo that fly out of here.
I will, as soon as I find out if he has a band from the Apple Store podcast I can listen to.
I do. It's fly on the wall. .buzz/truth. First, reconfigure your DNS server, then download a VPN and get the Tor browser.
I mean, that episode is saying some stuff. Like that he knew NASA in Hebrew meant deceive. See, that's the problem. Somebody was like, people put way too much trust in cartoons. Sir, you'll wake up one day.
What if the mental health crisis exists because we followed the wrong guy? In modern psychology, there were two major voices, Freud and Adler. Guess which one we built an entire industry around? In Freud's model, everything's about your childhood, your parents, your trauma. You're broken because of what happened to you. And healing means going back and reliving every moment. Adler, he didn't ignore the past, but he said it's not the main thing. What really matters, your beliefs, your goals, your sense of meaning. He believed healing came from taking responsibility, creating connection, and building purpose in the now. But we didn't follow Adler, we followed Freud. Because Freud's model made it easy to build a business around therapy that keeps you talking year after year. It feels like healing, but nothing actually changes. You explain your patterns, you analyze your wounds, but you stay stuck. What we need is Adler's model. We need to reprogram your subconscious with forward-focused beliefs, not to stay stuck in the past. We built a tool to help you build the inner strength Adler talked about, from the inside out. Comment Adler for access.
I'm gonna be honest, you need both. Because I think the first one was right when it came to like the healing, and then the second guy was right when it came to like the rebirth and the growth. So I'm like, I really feel like you need both.
Did you ever fry an egg on a coal stove? It's no trick at all if you have the right equipment. This is a cold hot plate. And because it's cold, you can make it out of wood, if you like. Just be sure that there's a coil of wire inside and that you connect that coil to a high voltage alternating current source. The rest is easy. As long as we're being different, we'll use motor oil instead of Crisco.
He said he uses oil instead of Crisco's. That's what he said. That thing is really cooking.
The egg fries very quickly. The stove remains perfectly cold. In fact, if you wish to keep it handy, you can fry your egg on the morning newspaper. With a gadget like this,
I need that.
You can get up in the morning, sit on the stove, read the morning newspaper, and fry the eggs in your lap.
So whatever that is, I need it. We need it. They said this man went missing after showing how to cook with no heat. They said he vanished, his video was removed, and his channel was wiped. Thank you, Jason, for the video.
Something kinda big just happened behind closed doors. Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Jensen Huang, and some of the wealthiest billionaires in the world all just flew to Riyadh to meet with MBS and Donald Trump. And this wasn't just your average tech conference, because what's unfolding here is a $1 trillion play that could redefine who controls the future of AI, energy, and global powers. And here's exactly what's happening. Trump is pitching a $1 trillion Gulf investment into U.S. infrastructure, EV factories, and AI development. And in return, the Saudis get two things they've been wanting for years: $100 billion in American manufactured weapons, and a U.S.-backed nuclear program powered by American tech that will be built in the middle of the desert. So essentially, the deal is an exchange of cash for technology and security. And it seems like a win-win for both sides. For the U.S., it's a shortcut to the whole America First thing without spending a dime of taxpayer money. Jobs, factories, and critical minerals, all funded by Saudi capital. And for MBS, this is about turning Riyadh into the AI and energy hub of the Middle East. And it's easy to see what US-based stocks are set to benefit massively off of this, and the obvious ones are Tesla, Nvidia, and AMD from the tech and AI side of things, and Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Palantir from the defense spending side of things.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, for the video.
It means then that your thoughts can literally make you sick.
Yes, it can.
In so many diseases around the world now are created by the immune system being suppressed, or what we call immune-mediated diseases. Everything from MS, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, food allergies, food sensitivities is a compromise in the immune system. So here's the question. If your thoughts can make you sick, is it possible that your thoughts can make you well?
Yes.
Well, we did a research study where we took 117 people, and we wanted to measure their cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, and another chemical called IgA, immunoglobulin A. It's your body's primary defense against bacteria and viruses. So as cortisol levels go up, and you're mobilizing enormous amounts of energy for some threat in your outer world, the immune system dials down. And now the immune system becomes compromised because all of the energy is going for a threat in the outer world. Our immune system becomes suppressed. So typically IgA levels go down. So we measured the cortisol and IgA levels, and we put them through 4 days of training. And we asked them to trade emotions like anger and frustration and hatred and violence and aggression and competition and fear. Those are all the chemicals that are derived from the stress hormones. We asked them to trade those survival emotions for elevated emotions, heartfelt emotions like gratitude, appreciation, kindness, care, love for life, a joy for existence. And all we wanted them to do for 10 minutes a day was open their hearts and begin to feel those elevated emotions. At the end of 3.5 days, we went back and we remeasured those same values. And their immune system, that is, IgA levels went up as a collective, about 50%. Their cortisol levels dropped about 16.25%. Their stress hormones went down, and their immune system upregulated to a great degree.
It is so true that your thoughts and your words can get you there. That's why I'll be telling y'all, like, cast stuff down when people be speaking stuff on you, like, oh, you have this, you have that. No, you don't. Because the thing is, your subconscious will take that, and because it don't know that you playing or this and that, and it will really walk that thing out. It really will. Like, y'all really got to look into like the subconscious and all the stuff that it does, because it's so powerful. So if you're around here telling yourself that you're SICK, I don't say that word at all. I don't. And even when I feel myself getting that, I be telling my body, myself, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, that in Yahuwah, there is no sicknesses, there is no diseases, there is no illnesses. I tell myself that I'm speaking these words, and when I tell you, it be a shift within the next 10 minutes where whatever I was feeling is completely off of me, I mean it. Because again, everything starts here before it starts acting out. So if your brain believes it, your body's going to believe it. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not S-I-C-K, your body's going to move that way. But if you tell yourself, oh, I'm feeling S-I-C-K, then it's going to manifest. The subconscious is so powerful. Y'all really got to look into it, because I'm telling you, y'all won't just be saying stuff and be thinking stuff. Y'all be casting that stuff down in the name of Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach so that that stuff doesn't manifest. Thank you, Hector, for the videos.
I think people need to start studying words. Look at a bank. What is also a bank? A river bank. What does the river bank do? It controls the flow. The flow of what? The flow of the current, the currency. If it's controlling the currency, it's also controlling the what? The flow. The flow of what? The cash flow. Money moves like water. So if I understand where the water is going to go, I just have to position myself where the cash flow is going to be next, and I will get wet. Welcome to the big.
They said that's Jordan Maxwell's student. I'm done.
Generation away from extinction. All you young people that are watching this right now, you don't want anything from the government. The only thing you want from the government is for them to stay out of your business. That's it. As less government as absolutely possible. If you think the government is ever going to take care of you and make all your hopes and dreams come true, you are out of your mind. It's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Breath is the only thing that connects your conscious and your subconscious mind. So you're subconsciously breathing all day long, and you're operating from back here where your amygdala and your limbic system are. They tell stories all day long. When you pause and you consciously take a breath, you lit up this frontal lobe. Your frontal lobe is where you make conscious cognitive choices. It's where you control your thoughts. When you light up this, you're making better decisions. You're telling your story. You're accepting the instincts you want and you're rejecting the others. You want to elevate that a step more? Meditate. First time somebody told me I needed to meditate, I was like, yeah, I'm a scientist. That's woo-woo. I don't do the woo. I do the woo. Here's why. I got real scientific about it, and I dug into it, and I was like, holy shnikes. Every single paper I read has really fascinating research with meditation, and it turns out one paper in particular changed my mind. Good friend of mine, she's a neuroscientist at Harvard. She knows something, I guess. But she did a research where she took non-meditators, scanned all of their brains, put them through a 20-minute-a-day, 8-week-long meditation program, rescanned all of their brains. And in 20 minutes, she changed the shape and function of every single person's brain. She shrunk their amygdala, and she literally grew gray matter. She grew brain cells in the frontal lobe.
Hey man, you want to watch this show called Paradise? You know that show's a documentary, right? What you talking about, Willis? They've been building bunkers all over the world for the last few decades in preparation for a catastrophic event. I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of a good idea. We need to save humanity if something catastrophic were to happen. You and I are peasants. We're not getting in there. That's only for the rich.
Right.
In fact, it is your money that built those bunkers for them. Wait a minute. They get to poison our food, destroy our world, then hide out in underground bunkers that were built with our tax dollars while we just suffer here on the surface?
Yes.
Yeah, not only did they build them at our expense, but they fully equipped and fully supplied them, again, with your money. You know those ridiculous prices that you're paying for everything? Guess where that's going? No wonder we're $36 trillion in debt. Well, according to Catherine Austin Fitts, a former Bush administration official, $21 trillion went into building the infrastructure for those bunkers. Wait a second. Do you remember before 9/11 when Donald Rumsfeld said they couldn't keep track of trillions of dollars, then everyone mysteriously forgot about it because 9/11 happened? Yeah, and let's not forget all the gold that went missing from the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. Now it's all making sense. You know, it kind of makes you wonder if that's where all those women and children that go missing in national parks went. Whoa, you know what? You might be right. What if they're using them as slaves to repopulate the earth for when something catastrophic does happen? I guess we'll have to find out. Either way, hiding in underground bunkers won't save them.
Now, first of all, lad, we've got to get all these medieval ideas out of your head. Clear the way for new ideas. Knowledge of man's fabulous discoveries in the centuries ahead. Now that'll be a great advantage, boy.
Advantage indeed. If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic.
The world is round? Yes, that's right. And it also goes around.
Tell y'all a true story. Be so boom. Watch this video to the end. The Simpsons done it again. TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes only.
You better not tell me to shut up. You better not.
Okay. What? What's that? No! No! Oh, no. Come on! What happened?
My bones are so brittle.
Okay.
But I always drink plenty of milk.
What? Stop playing with me, son. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. I didn't do anything. The Simpsons did it. Shh. Shut up! You're still eating that milk and cereal, aren't you? Doesn't matter. Oat milk, whole milk, almond milk. Stop playing with me, son. It's all the same. The Simpsons showed you that.
Dude is a character.
Shh. Shut up! Let's not forget, guys. This is just a cartoon. This is not real. Stop playing with me, son. And guess what? We got him. We got him. Man, I'm telling you guys, all you gotta do is put the pieces together. It's like a puzzle. You know, remember? Connect 4? Stop playing with me, son. I'm tired of this, guys, and I'm telling you right now, I ain't eating cereal ever again. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever in a supermarket and somebody tells me this is the best milk to get, is that right?
This is Lantana camera. It is excellent for your brain. If you have dementia, memory loss, you have a child that is not learning in school, make a tea from Lantana camera. Give it to the child to drink. Reverse it.
Shout out to my good sis Tadia for this video. Very powerful video to end it on. I love it because the conviction, it is such a great feeling, but it's not a great feeling. Like, it's still showing you that Yahuwah is working with you. Does that make sense? Because if I could sin and go to sleep, like he said, if I can just act wicked and just do whatever, that shows that Yahuwah has completely turned his face from me to where I feel like this is where the delusion comes in, where I can be doing anything and I don't feel nothing, because that is the separation from myself and Yahuwah. When he's convicting you or correcting you, it is love, because he's saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm still with you. You're walking the wrong path. Let's go ahead and pivot you back to the path that I have called you to be on, what I have called for your original path and purpose to be. Not what you picked up along the way with Babylon. Let's not lose focus. Let me get you back on track, because you're staring a little left. I need you to go straight. Oh, now you're a little right. I got to get you to curve a little bit to get you on that straight, narrow path. So I love it. There's so many scriptures I can give out when it comes to conviction or correction, but it is such a beautiful thing, especially if you have those around you telling you about yourself, because you can't see yourself outside of yourself. So it's beautiful to see these things. And then this is another thing that I've been dealing with too. You could have been doing something for years, but in this season, Yahuwah is telling you to cut it. And it's like, well, I've been doing this for years. Yeah, but I had you doing that for all those seasons. But in this season and the season to come forth, you're not going to do it no more. So it just shows growth and ascension, and it just shows the connection and the love that, Yahuwah has for us. And he wants us to do better and be better. So his no's, his delays, his timing is all for our purpose. And it's just to hold on to that and to trust it, because he's not going to lead us astray. He's not going to lead us and steer us wrong. He is an Alua whose word is not void. He's a word is bond Alua. He's wants the best for us. He says the birds don't even, it's a scriptures about they don't even sow their food, but I feed them. You don't think that you much worthier than the birds? And I know I'm butchering that, but I'll post the quote and stuff. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, that this is the Matthew 6 in the 30s, because I know after that it says, seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. But I know before that it was talking about the birds and don't worry about what you'll eat or what you drink, because I don't think that you need that. Let me see if I can get the first part of that chapter. Yeah, what shall we eat or what shall we drink? What shall we be clothed? And he was saying, like, for all these things the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things. And that's when it says, seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. But I don't even know why did I say that? Why did I lead it to the kingdom and seeking? I know it connects. So I don't know why I'm having a little blackout moment, but it's okay. I had to go back and like look at my video. But that is all for today's video. I want to give a shout out to each and every single person that has sent in the video. Thank you so much for all the videos that you guys have been sending in. They truly have been helpful, truly been learning a lot, been getting a lot of information. So thank you for all those that have been sending in videos. Again, if you want your video featured on here along with a shout out, all you have to do is join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. I be forgetting to talk here and talk here. So when I'm looking here, I'm looking at my screen. So I'm looking at myself. When I'm talking here, I'm looking at my camera. I want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you guys have been showing continuously. Seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just want to give a shout out to you guys because you guys have been doing it. Whether you guys been liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, whatever the case is, y'all have been doing it. Buying the merch. shopperkyy.com, link is in the description down below. All I ask is that when you shop from me, not if, but when, because y'all been on it, that you take a picture and that you tag me so I can feature you on the website. So thank you so much in advance. I do want to say that we are on the road to 900,000 people. All esteem, all praises, and all honor go unto my Saba Yahuwah Alua and my Abba, my Adoni, my Malek Kabod, my kinsman redeemer, Yahusha Hamashiach, because I'm just a vessel that they work in and through. So I have to give credit and honor where it's due. I'm a steward over what they rightfully own. They just allow me to steward over what's theirs. So all praise and all esteem go unto them. Had to let that be known because it's nothing I'm doing. It's what they're doing in and through me. So that's where the credit goes. So just all esteem and all praises, but I'm talking low because it is late. So I'm about to get off. I had fun reacting to all these videos that you guys been sending. Please send in more because the more you guys send, the more we can react. Plus, I'm trying to upload 2 videos a week. I've been on schedule. Maybe in the future I could do 3 videos a week. Don't hold me to it. Like, there ain't no promise on that. I'm just saying. I said maybe in the future, but we shall see. But that's all for tonight's video. I love y'all. Have a blessed one. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom, shalom.
You can't bring me down. I know who I belong to. Yeah. What? I won't sell my soul.